No one questioned the smell until years later. He didn't bury his victims. He burned them in a kitchen oven, and no one noticed for years. He looked like any ordinary man. A little bald, neatly dressed, always polite. But behind that gentlemanly smile was a human disposal machine. Henri Désiré Landru was a French serial killer, nicknamed the Bluebeard of Gambais. He's confirmed to have unalived at least 10 women and a teenage boy. Monsieur Landru was a second-hand dealer, furniture, toys, cars, whatever paid. But fraud was his real talent. He was a swindler so good, he could talk you into handing over your life savings, then make sure you disappeared without a trace. In 1898, Landru had a new ambition to become an inventor. He designed a primitive motorbike, the Landru, and suckered investors into backing a fake factory. He schemed up toy pants, suburban train lines, and any scam he could dream up. But the ideas flopped, so he leaned deeper into fraud, living on the run, barely seeing his wife and 4 kids. By 1904, he was already a convicted con man, busted for trying to pull off a bank fraud. He got 2 years in Fresnay prison. Between 1902 and 1914, it was in and out of jail, scam after scam, widow after widow. One of them, a wealthy woman in Lille, lost 20,000 francs before Landru got caught and locked up in loose prison. While Landru rotted behind bars in 1909, his mother died. A few years later, his father hanged himself in a Parisian park, humiliated by the family name. Then came World War I. Men were dying by the thousands. Women were left widowed, desperate, and lonely. And the newspapers were filled with personal ads, women looking for love, security, and companionship. Landru saw his chance. He didn't go to war. He was too old, had dependents, and maybe just slipped through the cracks. Instead, he opened the classifieds and became someone else entirely. A widower, comfortable income, 2 children, serious, respectable, looking for a woman aged 35 to 45 for marriage. His ads read, and the letters poured in. Nearly 300 replies. Women told him their tragedies, their losses, their hopes, and Landru took notes, literal, categorized notebooks. He labeled them by potential wealth, probably has assets. Further investigation needed, no money, discard. And then he moved in for the kill. In December 1914, Landru rented a secluded house northwest of Paris, the Villa Hermitage in Vernouillet. That's where the confirmed unaliving began. But neighbors started noticing things, so by late 1915, he upgraded. He rented another isolated villa, this time in Gambais, 300 meters from the nearest home. Total privacy. And soon after moving in, he bought a giant kitchen oven and a suspicious amount of coal. No one asked why the smoke stank. Anna Colomb was 44, smart, beautiful, and had 10,000 francs saved. She was an insurance typist with a complicated love life. She answered one of Landru's ads. He said he was 29, and she fell for him. Her family didn't trust him, but love blinded her. She vanished on December 27, 1916. Her child, supposedly placed with nuns in Italy, was never seen again. Then came Célestine Buisson in 1917, a lonely, semi-literate widow with 10,000 francs from her late husband's hotel. Her only son had been drafted to fight. Landru wrote to her under the name Georges Fremier. They got engaged quickly, but marriage was postponed. Lost papers, fake business trips, more stalling. By the time he proposed again in 1917, she was all in. On August 19, Landru bought a familiar pair of train tickets. 1 return, 1 single. She vanished after September 1. Later, Landru returned to her apartment with a forged note, claimed she had gone south to serve U.S. troops, and sold off her furniture. It all could have vanished into the fog of war, if not for the families. Marie Lacoste, Célestine's sister, and Victorine Pellet, Anna's sister, weren't buying the lies. They compared notes. 2 missing women, same suspicious man, different aliases, Fremier, Dupont, Guillet. They went to the police. Eventually, their reports landed on the desk of Inspector Jules Belin, Paris's top detective. But the real break came in April 1919. A friend of Lacoste saw Landru shopping with a young woman. They followed him, got his alias, Lucien Guillet, and his address. On April 12, 1919, Landru was arrested at his apartment. The evidence: a black notebook. Inside, detailed records of 2083 women, meetings, aliases, finances, and most damning, a list of 11 names, 10 women, 1 teenage boy, all presumed unalived. Police combed through the ashes in the villa's stove. They found bone fragments, teeth, human remains. Landru stood trial in 1921, defended by one of France's finest lawyers, Vincent de Moraes Giaffari, but the jury wasn't swayed. On November 30, they found Landru guilty of all 11 murders, by a 9-3 majority. Theft charges, unanimous. The jurors begged for clemency, but Landru wouldn't even sign the petition at first. His final words, "I have never killed anyone. This is my final protest." Too late. On February 25, 1922, before sunrise, Henri Désiré Landru was guillotined outside the gates of Saint-Pierre prison in Versailles. And if you ever visit the Museum of Death in Hollywood, you might just find a preserved human head, labeled Henri Désiré Landru, the monster behind the gentleman's smile. Some men leave no fingerprints, just ashes. So what's the lesson in this story? Always investigate the charmers. History shows, love isn't blind, it's bait. Remember to subscribe, share, and hit the follow button for more interesting stories like this.